failure. That's what makes you a champion.
I can't wait for Daddy to go, Dad, just go to the gym! Go to the gym!
Fuck!
About time.
Oh, mate, I'm sorry.
You're right, man.
I'm fucking shit at life, basically. I was trying to get my fucking suit sorted out, and I didn't. Mate, if anyone's watching this, don't ever go to Moss Bros. They're literally fucking weapons grade level morons. I can't even, I fucking absolute fucking chutney wound ferrets. If it had been a bloke, I think I would have headbutted him. Absolute madness. I went there just to get a shirt, and I thought I'll check on the boys' orders or whatever. And then I went in, and they were like, "Oh, well, we haven't ordered it because someone hasn't been measured." And I was like, "Yeah, but I was here when you measured him, but you haven't written it down. So you're just going to wait until the wedding day until you told us that you're not ordering it?" She was like, "Oh, shall I order it now?" And I was like, "Oh, bah, yeah." Yeah, order that now because I'm getting married in 2 weeks, you stupid cunt. And the fact that I'd already gone and said, okay, I need a suit tailored, so tailor it for me. And I'm going to match all of the groomsmen, obviously, in the same suit because that's kind of what you do. And she was like, yeah, cool. So I got it tailored. And I sent everyone in and they went, oh, no, we're never making that suit ever again. We haven't got any material. I was like, oh, it's kind of a bit annoying because that's the whole reason I chose it, you fucking stupid cunt. So I changed all of the suits to this other suit, and they didn't even bother ordering that either.
I'm starting to think it's your fault though, because there's so much of it now. I think
I know it's fucking constant. I don't know whether it's COVID. Like since COVID, no one gives a fuck. They're like, I don't need to worry about my job. Because if COVID will happen, it'll be Bulgarian anus flu in no time. Will come, it'll shut everything down. I don't need a job. I'll just go on furlough forever. No one gives a fuck anymore.
There's no smoke without fire, brother.
Don't get me wrong. I've got a red face. I've got the sort of face that says piss me off. Don't know what it is. So, this guy, we should piss him off. Let's ruin his fucking day. Don't worry.
It's more of a brown face at the moment, isn't it?
Hey, I'm looking sassy now. I did the tanning injections so that I look less red, and now I just look red on top of brown. I think it's better in real life.
Tanned but high blood pressure.
Yeah, I think the little small injections into my life that everyone's seen can see another reason why I'm definitely going to die in the next 3 years. Which is reassuring for Alice, seeing as we're getting married. It's probably not going to be for long, so don't think about it too much. Keep the dress. You may as well. It costs $5,000. Anyway.
Fuck, my life is a great start, isn't it?
IFBB Pro in the house that I leave waiting, like Lee Priest that I did the other day. And I'm a total fucking Cont.
Started it off well.
Yeah. I'll be honest, it was worth the wait just to listen to that rant, Dan.
Oh, mate, I'm fucking raging. So I was like, is this even going to come? She was like, yeah, it's definitely going to come. I was like, that's kind of what you said already, lots. Yeah. So, with that, my dog getting run over, I'm pretty fucked off.
So,
but I'm here, and now I'm calm. Hold on, let me just...
Right, okay. Welcome back to Bash Bros podcast. We are lucky enough to finally have Darren, IFBB Pro Classic. We were meant to have Darren on last week, but I fucked Darren around because I was busy winning a sword somewhere.
Oh!
and yeah, I was being a bit of a dick. So apologies for that, Darren. So what we do, bud, in our intros is I'll share the screen. If
Can you turn your mic down just a touch, Johnny?
I'll just lean back a bit.
Darren's a bit quiet and you're a bit distorted.
Apologies. Right.
I'm perfect, obviously.
So this is Darren. If you're not following him, head over, give him a follow.
So much hair.
So soon to be starting his prep for the Olympia. So we'll probably touch on that in a minute. So what we like to do, but is have a whistle stop tour of what got you into bodybuilding, your competitive history, and I guess your current plans and future plans, bud.
Right. Okay. Firstly, thanks for having me on. Eventually. My background in bodybuilding, I guess, is a little bit different. I kind of just fell into it from sport. I played rugby and got injured, rehabbed in the gym, quite liked training, realized I preferred the training, and started doing that, like dicking about. Didn't know what I was doing. After a couple of months, someone was like, "Oh, you should do this show coming up," and I was like, "Yeah, why not?" Didn't have a clue how to pose, nothing like that. First show ended up winning under 75 kilo bodybuilding.
Fucking hell.
Tiny and over dieted, but yeah, I was kind of, after that I was like, oh yeah, I can't quite enjoy this, and so one of the kind of older guys in my gym sort of started showing me the ropes a bit more then, like teaching me, like kind of showing me what's up, and did a couple more shows, did like I think I did 3 more shows in Ireland that year, the following year when I was 24, 25, did shit, didn't do well at all. And then I moved over to the UK, and a couple of years later I competed with UKBFF in classic bodybuilding. And I think I came second in like the Birmingham regional, I think it was, and that qualified me for the British finals, which I did, and like I was like 3rd or 4th call out or something. And then it was a couple of years then until I competed. Obviously I'd moved to Dubai in the meantime, and I was always kind of training, but never like, I was your typical kind of sort of gym goer, like bodybuilder, but like not really, I trained and I ate a couple of clean meals and then would fucking have a weekend off and all this. And I decided that was just about the time they introduced like the new IFBB rules, so Classic Physique came out. So I did the first year that was out, I did the pro qualifier in New Zealand and in Ireland, and did shit in both of those. But really shit. And then it was that after that is when I started working with Jamie DeRigo. He had just moved to Dubai, and he kind of took me under his wing, sort of taught me how to actually train and not be a dick with my food, and kind of turned me into a robot pretty much. And following year went back to New Zealand, where I won my pro cards. Don't know how, really, to be honest. I look back at it and I'm like, that physique probably wouldn't have won in most shows these days. But I won that. I think I was like 186 pounds maybe on stage. I was never really chasing a pro card or anything like that. I just enjoyed bodybuilding, to be honest. And so won my pro card there. Following year with the COVID bullshit and all that stuff, and I did that. My pro debut was actually that British Grand Prix show that got moved forward. It was supposed to be on a Sunday or something. Got moved forward to the Wednesday. I think I placed like 8th or 9th at that. Again, not very good. And then after that, things kind of picked up for me. It sort of started steady, like improving quite a bit. Then last year, I guess it is. I had put in for an invite. I was kind of a bit like lost what I was doing. Wasn't really enjoying training or anything like that. I wasn't working with Jamie at the time, and I put in an application for the Arnold's, the first Arnold's UK, and not that I wanted to do it, it was more because I was like, oh, I'll regret if I end up wanting to do it and then I don't get an invite. So I put in the invite, and I kind of just stopped training, to be honest. I maybe did like 1 or 2 sessions a week. Dicked about, wasn't really on my diet, nothing like that. And it was Jamie came to me, seen me outside the gym one day, and he was like, just sort your shit out. And was like, listen, right, just get back to training, get back to doing what you like to do. Sent me over a diet. I started following it. About 2 weeks later, he was like, what the fuck? You're just responding like crazy. So I need to do a show. And I was like, oh, I'll think about it. And as I was driving home, it was the Arnold's got announced, and I wasn't on, and I was pissed off. So I was like, fuck, okay, maybe I do still want to do this. So I messaged him, and I was like, fucking pissed off. He was like, there's a show in Spain in 5 weeks. And I was like, fuck it, let's do it. So I went to that big European pro show in Spain. Like did a 5-week diet for it. So I wasn't my best, but I got some good feedback. It was a huge show. I placed 11th in it. Like, and it probably doesn't sound amazing, but in that lineup, but I was actually pretty happy. I was in the second call out. There was quite a lot of Olympians there, and I got some good feedback. And I knew, right, I only dieted 5 weeks. I knew I could be better. So from there, we were like, I got back to my apartment that night in Spain, and I was like, I know if I continue dieting, I can be better. So as I looked, and I was like, seeing there's 2 shows back to back in America, one in Dallas, one in San Antonio. So I'm like, I messaged him. He's like, fuck it, let's do it. So just continued dieting. Flew out to America with like no ambitions, nothing. Just like was, I thought maybe if I could get a first call out there, it'd be pretty cool. And the Dallas show I did ended up being first call out, was dead center for all of it. Most people had me winning. I ended up placing 3rd. I was over the moon with that. I was like 3rd place in the show in America. I was like, it's the best I've ever done. For me, I was like, yeah, this is mad. I'm delighted. So there was obviously at San Antonio the following week. So just went to that again. I was still over the moon, just 3rd place. I was like, in my head, I was going, I was probably just a once off. But went to San Antonio and same thing. First call out, dead center, and ended up winning it. So to the shock of pretty much everyone and myself. So yeah, that's pretty much my competitive background.
Fuck. Fuck. Gave up training. Thought, nah. Someone saw me outside the gym, said, "You're a cunt, sort it out." I went, yeah, and then just went to Olympia. Sound.
Pretty much.
Mate, that's fucking mega. What an achievement. I mean, a lifetime dream for all of us, of course, and obviously yourself, whether you had the self-doubt or not, the back of your mind.
Yeah, I guess anyone that kind of knows me knows that I'm not the most confident person when it comes to stuff. You won't ever see me like, I love the guy for it. Michael DeBoule is like the most confident person in the world, telling everyone they're coming 2nd place and all this, but that's not me. Like, I never look at it like I'm just like, I still look at it like, if I go into shows, I'm like, all right, if I'm not last, I'm happy.
Instead,
also, I still think that the guys like that and the guys that come and they doubt themselves and stuff, usually the guys coming on leaps and bounds. Because if you see it and you're like, yeah, I'm going to smash everyone, I'm ready, it's like, where's the motivation to get better if you already think that you're the best?
Like literally, if people know me around here, like I kill myself every day, just try to be better, and I literally don't deviate from what I'm supposed to do all year round. But that's the part I love, I love the fucking day in, day out of it. If I'm honest, like I hate the stage part of it.
You're like me. I don't know why. I don't know how people love that. I don't know. Like, and as well, it's the glitz, isn't it? A lot of people now, they're like, the first thing you say, they're not like, I love training and stuff like, oh, I want to do a show. It's like, because it looks cool. Like, show day's wank. Like, you think you're going on at a time that you're not going on, and then you just sit on a bin bag for like 8 hours. It's shit. It's like,
I get the visions of, when you're in school and the teacher asks you to stand up in the front of class and make you fucking answer a question. That's what stage is like for me.
Well, I do that to students regularly. So maybe that's
what's like for me, except I'm wearing fucking tiny pants.
Yeah, I don't make them do that, actually. Well, disclaimer.
So we touched on it a little bit, Darren, before we started the podcast, but give us a little update on where you are now, your body weight and when you're starting prep for the Olympia.
Yeah, so coming off the back of San Antonio, so I got straight into kind of off season and stuff, and me and Jay were like, right, we are pretty close to the weight cap already, so we'll go into this and we'll keep sort of body composition good. We'll keep body weight below sort of 245 to 250. And my body just wasn't doing that. I think within like a month, I was like 250, pushing 255, still lean. And so we've kept like...
How tall are you? And what does that make you? What does that make your cap? Just for those who don't know, like me.
So I'm 180.1 centimeters. So that 0.1 allows me to be 222 on stage. So yeah, I've pretty like I say off season, but I've been dieting all off season. So I did
182. So that's like 6'2" or something.
5'11", 5'11 and a half.
108. What?
180.1.
Oh, 108. Right. Okay. Yeah, I'm shit with that. Obviously, I've proved that.
Yeah, so I've been dieting pretty much the whole year. So I'm like trying to keep my weight down, like 30 minutes cardio every day, like HIIT cardio. Food's been kept pretty moderate. I haven't pushed it at all. Drugs been kept down. But like I topped out at 267 a few weeks ago. For still very lean. Like if you went to my Instagram, you'll see like the most recent photos. Like I was probably looking about sort of 6-7 weeks out sort of condition at that. Like still got lines in my glutes and stuff.
Are you a light person? Because some people are just are heavy, and no, some people are heavy, and some people are like lighter, and obviously like you're sorry, my dog's injured, so he has to cry at me. Shut up, or you getting more sedatives. So are you a light person? I mean, it looks like that's a deceiving, like that looks deceiving to me. That's kind of what I'm getting at. Like you're saying, what do you weigh here?
I think that picture there was about 265.
Yeah, see, that doesn't look like 265 to me. I mean, remember our good friend Ryan. Now, he looks a bit like that, and he weighed 387,000 pounds.
Yeah, I think. I think there I'm about 267 or something there.
Yeah, that's fucking nuts. Yeah, it's definitely like helps to have bird bones. There's definitely hollow bones in there because that looks a lot more, which is obviously the idea.
Yeah, no, I think it's like I do have sort of wide clavicle, so it makes me look a bit bigger as well.
Mm. Is the hair a thing? Like,
oh, you know what
do you volumize it, like, you know, some hair gel to kind of get that extra?
No, those fuckers ram that thing down on top of you.
Oh, really? I can't remember who it was. Was it Curry who had the cane race? Definitely bought him at least a centimetre. I thought that was a...
where Madelman turned up at a show last year and the year before with a fucking wig.
Really? I might do that anyway, like a He-Man one, you know, like you look like one of those Lego people. That'd be sick. You know, I mean, I don't know how old you are, but that was the haircut that I was spited with as a child. Like just enough to see. I know kids have cool haircuts now, but in my age, you just got that. You can see. That's fine. You won't get bullied much.
So the prep for the Olympia, you said you see dialing it back a little bit at the moment.
Yeah, so at the moment, I'm sort of going through like I'm completely off everything at the moment. So I was like, right, I'll try and pull my weight down. So just drop a little bit of food, increase cardio a little bit, sort of pull my weight. I'm hoping to be like sort of in and around sort of 240, 245 come August 1st. So when I start prep, so I know at the start of prep when we put in a cycle of stuff, I grow. So I don't really want to be hitting that from 260 plus. So I know if I start at 240, I'll probably go up to 250 and then start coming down.
So for someone that struggles with hitting the weight cap, like, and this might be Johnny might be able to say, how do you prepare like the last week? Because obviously, like for bodybuilders, once you've hit the open, which is pretty much most people, unless you're a 5-foot bird, birdman who doesn't weigh anything, it doesn't matter what the weight's going to do. You just like try and look as full as possible without spilling. But what does that mean for someone who's struggling to hit a weight cap?
So like when I went into Spain this year, at 3 days out, I was like 233. So I was like 11 pounds over. So it just meant like honestly, we used diuretics to pull off the weight. And then those fuckers had weigh in at like 10 o'clock at night the day before the show. So I spent the day before, and I had clients doing the amateur show. So I spent the day before at the show. not drinking and not eating all day. But obviously, but going from there, so the thing is, what we're doing this year is we're starting prep a lot earlier with the aim of getting my body weight down close to the limit 2-3 weeks before, because we know because obviously it was the same from Spain to Texas, there was 5 weeks, and we pulled all cardio, increased food, and I went from struggling to make weight to being 5 pounds underweight in for Dallas. So I know once I get down, my body just keeps going, but it's timing that to a point where it's not too early, because if it's too early, I'll just keep dropping, and it's very hard for me to stay full then. So yeah, that's what we're going to looking to do, is for maybe 2-3 weeks before, be like close enough, and then we know that I can back off everything, and I'll just continue to drop into it.
So you're off. So you said you're off cycle at the moment, just as a TRT. I guess what's TRT for you?
200 milligram at the moment.
I guess TRT doses for the average person who's not a bodybuilder for a living and holding a lot of muscle would be slightly different to what someone like yourself.
TRT is like 125 to 150.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll call it TRT plus. I shall quote Jordan on that. I can't remember what the natural production a day is. It's like 10 milligrams or something. It's like nothing.
Yeah.
I just blame being old.
Yeah.
I could go to the doctor and he'd definitely give it to me. So I may as well just give it to myself, because it's just maths.
Yeah, but the doctor would take about 5 years to give it to you.
Yeah, that's true. I'm checking out my little tumour.
Yeah. You should probably get that seen too, pal.
Well, my view on it is the tumour is that I've had it about a year, so I'd probably be dead if it was not good.
I mean, that's a sound theory. Yeah. You should definitely, anyone watching should definitely use that approach.
Yeah, and if not, it's a good dieting tip for next year.
Fucking hell. Okay, so you're going to be starting prep. What, August time you said?
Yeah, August 1st was kind of when we said.
Right. So the Olympia, what's the date of the Olympia?
December 15th to the 18th. So I think for me, I'll probably be the 16th.
So that's going to be a difficult one if you've been off as well, as you're going to have to combat that response of being back on cycle as well.
It must be horrible for you, just accidentally waking up massive. Awful. All these people must be, their hearts are bleeding. The viewers at home, just their hearts are bleeding. I don't want to get too massive. We've only had a few guests on here where we've been like, oh, you could actually, when someone says, like, I don't want to get too big. I want to be like, you don't want to get too big. And only a few of our guests have actually been those people where you might actually get too big. I think Derek Poundface, or however you pronounce it, was had the same issue. I'm thinking of the wrong Derek, aren't I? Lunsford.
We were talking about Derek just before the podcast started.
Yeah, because remember he said, he was really struggling to keep his weight down, and every time he even breathes in, he puts on like 50 pounds. Hey, I know. I'm sorry. Just have to calm down.
The fucker does pound like 100 pieces of sushi every couple of days, though.
Yeah, and then he went to open and right. Okay, you're going out. Come on then. Sorry, one sec. Go on then. Have a little walk around. Okay, but not too fast. My dog's got metal plates holding his legs together, and he's only allowed to walk to the sofa.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then there was the photos, wasn't it, where he did unleash the beast, and like everyone was like, "Fuck." Yeah. He wasn't lying. He did accidentally get too big.
Yeah. It's only a matter of time, though, isn't it? Where you have no choice but to move to the open. So
it must be terrible.
Well, when we were on the podcast, he did say to us, Dan, didn't he, that he was going to win the Olympia once and then go to the Open. But Darren was saying, because Darren speaks to him quite regularly, that he wants to defend the title now and then move to.
How's he going to do that now?
I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's wishful thinking.
Yeah. Fuck. I mean, those photos were absolutely madness.
Yeah.
Madness. Yeah. Like, there was Nick Walker as well, and everyone's like, Nick Walker, the mass monster. They were like, hold on. What? What?
Yeah.
What?
Right. So there was actually quite a few questions. So we'll get stuck into those because I'm sure there'll be some depth to them.
Unlike usual.
Yeah, there's actually a bit of quality. Normally it's just nonsense.
Yeah, it's not. If you're going to be hanging out your dad and thinking of your mum, which way would you? Yeah. If it's anything from Adam Ledner, don't read it out.
No, Adam, stay clear of this one. Okay, so Pete Wynyard, some knowledge of Darren's educational background, been a big fan for ages now. How come he chose the route from business, economic, finance to bodybuilding? And was it a gradual process? Did he do a bit of corporate world, or did he just go straight into PT coaching scene?
Okay. Well, the answer basically is because that shit was boring. Like I'll be real. I went to university and all of that because I went to play sport. I was on sports scholarships. I had no ambitions of. I'll be honest. I had no real ambitions of anything other than sport when I was growing up. I just did sports, and that's what I was. That's who I was. So like I went to university, just played sport, did a master's because of the sport, and that's how I kind of ended up with my business and economics master's degree. Yeah, I did briefly work in that side of things, hated it, but that sort of coincided with me getting my injury from sport, and then I started going to the gym and I did my PT qualifications, and then I did another master's in nutrition.
So you're a coach with some nutritional qualifications.
I know, yeah, surprise.
Go on.
So,
go on, sorry, bud.
I started working in PT and started online coaching when I was sort of 24. So 9 years ago now.
Fair enough. I mean, that's a fairly straightforward answer. It is pretty fucking boring. So
well, now he's going to the Olympia, so eat a French dick.
Exactly. So
Cock.
we're talking about French. This guy's name is Sebastian, so I'm guessing that worked out quite well. I know that Darren is very, very precise with his food nowadays. But has he ever binged on some weird foods in his beginning days? For contest, I once ate plain dry oatmeal.
Fuck. How do you manage that, especially on constant? Like, look, it's taking you a while.
Yeah,
Why?
Surely the regret and shame would have kicked in before you finished.
You've done that, Dan?
No, I've never eaten dry oatmeal, but I actually remember before, I think about a week or two out before maybe my first or second show, getting absolute cravings in the middle of the night. And when I was living at home, and I went down to our kitchen and I poured a full kilo of oats into a bowl, mixed it up, and I just put everything in there I could, like peanut butter, fucking raisins, smashed it.
Nice.
It feels so good. Just the volume.
Oh, great.
Just the volume until about 10 minutes after. And then the water soaks up into the oats and they feel like shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have done the dry oats thing. I don't know why I was very early. There wasn't a lot of information around. So I was doing that with vitamin C, and it was probably the first time that I thought I was actually going to die because I choked on the vitamin C by inhaling it. And I had to basically try and give myself the Heimlich maneuver in my hotel room.
At least that was on like show day.
Yeah, it was pretty close. It's
like this guy's saying he was doing it like on prep.
Oh, for fun? Yeah, I don't do that.
That's what he decided.
I mean, don't do it anyway, but definitely don't.
He decided to cheat his diet on dry oats. Mate, go have a fucking burger or something.
Yeah, that's a really poor choice.
Also, like, don't you need the water anyway? Like,
yeah, but it's just like eating dust.
Maybe he's like, into it. Maybe it's a texture thing.
Maybe
it's autism.
Maybe it's autism. Okay, DS online coaching. What's the main advantages and disadvantages of training, eating in Dubai versus the UK? And well done to Johnny for his Brits, but I didn't want to read that out. Anyway, so the differences in the training and the food, etc., Dubai versus UK.
I think, for me here anyway, I think it's just the convenience of everything. I guess it's like a really well-equipped gym close by, like 15 minutes away from where I live. You know, food sponsors, stuff like that. It's all very, very simple and convenient. I don't have to worry about that sort of stuff. I guess that's probably the main thing is the convenience.
So do they just pack your food and you just have to eat it?
Pretty much. It gets delivered in like vacuum packs, and I gotta weigh it out myself.
Oh, that's some bullshit. Don't you have a guy for that? You have like a person?
Do you know what? I wouldn't trust anyone. I'm so weird. I can't let my wife cook anything or do any of my food. I have to fucking put it in my plate myself. I don't trust anyone.
No, it's just like, I thought it looked a bit bland, so I added 20 grams of olive oil. So enjoy.
Yeah. Yeah, no, so I do all that. But, yeah, the convenience of it, I think that's probably the main thing. The atmosphere, I guess, in the gym, it's pretty cool. Like you go into that gym and every day you're training, and there's like 7 or 8 other pros around, so it's like, I don't think you ever get too big for the boots. You're always kind of chasing someone.
Spot on. What about a cost thing then? Just to elaborate a little bit. Is it more or less expensive to prep out there, or?
I think it's all relative, because obviously like living out here, so I don't pay tax, so then my income's a little higher. So then in comparison, maybe stuff is a little bit more expensive, but you're also earning more. Personally, I think things are better value here. Like I think for example, I don't think I could live in the house I live in here for the same money in the UK with the like relative closeness to the main city and stuff like that. So no, I think cost of living is pretty much the same overall.
Right. Okay, so one that Dan has put in from his DMs. So thoughts on Cuba's move to Classic and the front runners for men's Open at the Arnold Classic UK.
Cuba's move to Classic, fucking that thing's getting more fucking airtime than Johnny Depp's court case these days. It's not like whatever the guy wants to do. If he makes weight, he can fucking do the show if he wants to do the show. I think people should just reserve their kind of comments on it until they see what he looks like, and then voice your opinions then. But I think he's voiced why he's doing it, health reasons and stuff. And I think he's kind of maybe beating his head against the wall, trying to put on that size for that Open class. And maybe he's realized it's not going to happen, and longevity wise, and he can enjoy his bodybuilding and enjoy his life a bit more if he takes a go at Classic. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. He can still go back to Open if he wants. We've seen like was it Regan Grimes did it a couple of years ago, dropped down, won in Classic, then decided fuck that, went back to Open, and he's won in Open again. So it's his choice, whatever he wants to do. Be interested to see like how he comes down and makes the weight, what he looks like in comparison to what he was as an Open. So
I think for him it was the gift and the maybe the curse of becoming pro so quickly. Yeah,
he definitely became pro early on, very early on. I don't think he'll mind anyone saying this, that he probably got his pro card before he was kind of ready for it in terms of physique wise as an Open.
Well, just for someone who is competitive, who was young, who was always going to compete in the pro leagues as soon as it happened, it kind of like removed some of the experience and also winning the shows. A lot of that enjoyment of winning the amateur shows was kind of removed for him. But yeah, mate, if he wants to, I mean, obviously, I speak to him quite often as well, and so I know like why he's doing it. I don't think it'll be forever. And yeah, people just like get butthurt about stuff that's nothing to fucking do with them. Yeah. It's fucking weird. Yeah. Oh God, how dare he do Classic?
I'm not gonna lie. I thought it was just like an admin error.
I thought that initially, and then I was like, maybe not, because he isn't far off the weight limit. When people are like, how the fuck's he gonna make weight? I'm like, he's got less weight to drop to make weight than I do. So I do it. So
yeah, he's not a heavy person either.
No.
And he's not like shooting away. He tells everyone like his weights, and he's not a heavy guy. You see a guy that like looks as muscular than him that weighs like 20 pounds more. Like it really does come down to genetics for that bit, especially for for classic. Like, you can't be a heavy dude. You can't. You have to have like, you know, a physique that looks heavier than it is. Otherwise, you're just going to look emaciated. Yeah, he's not got far to go. It's not going to be a problem for him.
You know, and I think people are discrediting him in terms of his physique, but he's had to be pushing for weight so much going into these open shows that he's lost a bit of like his, you know, tighter midsection and stuff like that. But if he's pulling another 10, 15 pounds off that, I think he'll look pretty good. Like, he'll be small waisted. He'll look very, very complete. So,
well, and he'll do whatever the fuck is needed.
Yeah, exactly.
No worries about that.
Yeah, 100%. You know, people need to show him a bit more respect, you know.
Oh, it's the curse of being popular, isn't it? Can't please everyone. And that's, you know, you haven't made it until someone is calling you a cunt. That's
true.
That's it, isn't it? Like,
Dan, you're a cunt.
Oh, I'm definitely a cunt. But that happened first. I didn't get the love, just pure cuntdom. And so you need a cunt sound like ratio. Mine's way off, so I have nowhere near it.
So, second half of the question: front runners for the men's open at the Arnold Classic.
I think James has probably got to be the sort of favourite, but then if Lionel Bayeki can actually turn up in shape, I think he'd be.
Oh, but we've been saying that for about 40 years.
Yeah, that's why Lionel Bayeki will either be first or last. So that's where that was. And fucking Hassan Mustafa now as well. Looks like he's got his shit together. So
is Samson on the list?
No.
Okay. Yeah, it's got to be James then, haven't it?
But it's James and Hassan. I think are probably your two solid pick favorites, and then Lionel, if he turns up in shape, will be right up there as well.
Yeah, Hassan's going to be bonkers if he gets in condition.
Yeah, and the other one, I think, Jamie Johal, if he comes in like he looked at the British Grand Prix, that show 2 years ago.
I remember.
Yeah, he's so different, but if he gets it right, he's very pleasing to look at.
He's one of those things. How do you judge it? And I've said this over and over again. Like, I'm glad I'm not a judge when someone like that steps on stage. Like, what the fuck is that? Like,
when he comes in on, it's very impressive. I mean, he could be right up there as well.
Yeah,
I hope so. He deserves it.
Yeah, it's difficult for somebody that is that tall though to get like proper inside out diced and not look stringy in it. It's a fine line.
Yeah, I mean, but I've always said that, like, you know, he has some weak body parts, but he for someone that tall, he doesn't. He looks like, you know, you say like, these ones are small, but the ones out there are far away.
Yeah.
Like when he's like, when it's just a photo, you don't have a comparison. I don't look at him and think stringy. Like, he could be any height.
Yeah.
I mean?
Well, if you're going to put it out there, I think his front lat spread is probably one of the best in the world.
Exactly. When he hits that front lat spread, it's crazy.
Yeah.
He's still got like that after eating 8,500 calories a day. Still got a waist. Yeah. Anyway, that's enough sucking off Jamie. Good luck to him.
Okay, so Pete Winyard's for another in. I'll throw another in if it's going. How would you go about coaching a lifestyle client who is very, very dedicated and serious, but only has an extremely limited amount of time to train, eat, and recover, and isn't very flexible due to work commitments, which of course brings the bread to the table and wants to progress in such a career? It's a very, I'm guessing he's talking about himself.
Very, very specific. I think you just manage the situation as best you can. If someone can only if they only train 2 or 3 days a week, that's down to you as a coach then to facilitate and work everything around that. You know, if someone can train 3 times in a week, you can work things like they can make pretty much the same level of progress. Yeah, you know.
I only train 3 days a week.
Yeah, I've got plenty of guys who I work with plenty of guys who are like fucking really high-end businessmen. They're traveling constantly, and it's like some of these guys make the craziest progress I've seen, because if they are actually committed, like when you work with someone who's like that high up in their career, if they put their mind to anything, they fucking get it done. You know.
Yeah.
I think with that is just you've got like the food thing is probably the thing that determines how much you can train.
Yeah.
And as a coach, is the best plan is the one they can do.
Yeah.
So whatever it is they can do, figure out what it is and what they can recover from, and then move from there.
I think that's where the coach actually has to do some fucking work and like not be like,
you can't just send them the same one.
You can't just be like, oh, you have to eat 6 meals a day or it won't work. Like, no, I can only eat 3 meals. Okay, then do your fucking job as a coach and facilitate 3 meals. It's the same shit. Get the food in.
Well, that's the other thing that goes is like eating obviously like often is good, but ultimately if you eat a larger meal, it will take longer to digest. It doesn't all just evaporate every 2 hours. Like it's not the end of the world, you know. And if they don't want to compete, you've got 3 days and you can eat 4 meals a day. You can get fucking massive. You can.
Yeah, and it's managing people's ability to train with the intensity that you'd expect for less days. You know, if people
you have to hit it. If you're doing, I mean, I'm a 3-dayer because that's what I can recover from with my job and being completely insane and not sleeping. But you have to give it some. If you're doing 3 days, you can't be like doing some pump sessions. That's not going to do it.
No, exactly that. Okay, so Rob Cannon's thrown a juicy one in there.
Oh, Robbie boy.
If he wasn't allowed to stay in Classic, and you
wasn't allowed, what would happen? God would come down.
And you had to either move up into Open or drop down to Physique, which would you choose and why?
I like it.
Oh, 100%. No way would you get me in those board shorts.
That's the answer. That's the answer we were hoping for.
That's good. We don't have to hang up and delete the podcast.
Even when I was fucking tiny, I didn't get the board shorts. I did under 75 kilo bodybuilding, but yeah.
But you keep adding the tissue like you are at the moment. You'll be fucking open anyway.
I'll be the first to say I'd love to be an open bodybuilder, and I'll always strive to grow. I just don't think I can reach that level, you know, that I would need to be there. If I'm being honest.
Well,
you've got the structure and stuff to do really well in this. Like, why wouldn't you? You know, like if you're hitting like Olympia level, like, you know, like.
Yeah, I guess for me, like it's still all pretty fucking new to me as well. Like
it's not like you haven't got time to like switch it up.
I never expected to fucking turn pro, never mind to be like going to Olympia. So I'm still kind of getting to grips with all that shit going on. So
unreal.
Well, you need to get to grip with it pretty quick because you're going to the Olympia.
Yeah. They let you sit
I'm
on two.
sure I probably will when they're calling my number to go out on stage. I'm like, oh yeah, fuck.
Yeah, you get 2 bin bags to lie on when you're at the Olympia. That's when you like a padded bin bag.
And they're red.
Yeah, they're red bin bags. Hey, Physique didn't even exist when I started.
It still shouldn't.
Yeah.
I feel.
Mate, I remember. So when I did the San Antonio show, it was quite a big men's physique show as well. There was like a 30-class men's physique one at it. And I was walking off stage, and I'd won, and I had my sword, and I was walking off the stage, and I was like looking down, and I looked up, and just in my eye line, there was just this chest that was like fucking out here. I'm like, I looked up at him, and I'm like, this guy must have been about 6'4". And I'm like, what the fuck are you? It was a men's physique guy, and I actually laughed, and I was talking to him. I started chatting to him, I'm like, how much do you weigh? He was like 116 kilo.
It's madness, isn't it?
What the fuck is this guy?
Imagine imagine how much he'd weigh if he trained legs.
No.
I mean, you see some of the Olympia physique guys. They are massive.
They are huge.
They are fucking massive. It's just the weird little amateur feeding.
There's a few of them, like quite a lot of them. People are like, oh, they should do classic physique, and they're like, I can't make weight for classic.
Even, mate. I remember it didn't even exist. It wasn't even a thing.
No,
it wasn't like, you know. But then there was the takeover, wasn't there, when it got really, really big in the UK, and then they bring like 15,000 people to come watch, and then they'd all leave the auditorium, so there was no one left to actually watch the bodybuilding. That was a sad time. I think that's where the animosity came from bodybuilders about the physique. It wasn't the fact that they were doing it, do whatever the fuck you want, but it's the fact that they would buy all the tickets, watch the physique guys, then leave, and then you do the overall, and like no one's there. No one.
Instead, now they just include them in the overall and just never give it to them. Let's just include them so the people stay, and then just never give them the win.
Yeah. I mean, although I do remember seeing one wearing an overall, and I'm just like,
Yeah, that just tells you that the bodybuilders were shit.
this was my face for a week.
I mean, that's the worst part about it. You can't even be like, oh, he was a really good men's physique. It's more of a, oh, the bodybuilders must have been shit.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that we've offended someone.
Yeah, definitely have. But I mean, yeah. Anyway.
Let's ask a question.
Ryan Dugmore.
Ooh, sassy.
How come your time with Patrick Tor was very short-lived? How do you approach training for Classic, e.g. 2 times arms per week? Do you ever imagine yourself going into Classic? Did you ever imagine yourself going into Classic when you turn pro? Well, that's a silly question because you turned pro as a Classic. So the first 2 questions.
Oh, but Peter Molnar did it, didn't he? Do you remember Pete? He did it the other way around. He won his pro card as a bodybuilder.
Yeah.
Went straight into...
Which makes no sense to me because he looked better as a bodybuilder.
Couldn't make the weight limit for amateur Classic. He was still over.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So anyway, first part of the question, Patrick Tor.
I like, I'll be honest, I worked with Patrick for 5-6 months. To be honest, I chose to work with Patrick at the time, but largely to kind of build my own knowledge as a coach. You know, he's one of the smartest guys around. I learned a lot about him from him, with like nutrients, timings, like a lot of the nutrition. But overall, I just didn't, after that length of time, I didn't feel like he was sort of the right coach for me in terms of like to bring me on and progress me any further. I learned loads from him, from the nutrition standpoint. But after that, just wasn't for me.
Was there a big take home? Was there a big take home that you could share?
With him, like the main thing with him is just like how your timings of your meals around training, the specifics you do with like the insulin and stuff like that around it. That was the main thing from it, and the preciseness of it all. You know, that was the main thing I took from it anyway. You know, the training side of things was pretty normal, nothing like crazy. Yeah, I think it just, you know, I think to work with someone long term, I think you got to click with them. And I think, you know, he's quite a busy coach, and you don't get a whole amount back from him. So that's
right. So there's the real answer. You were at the time you weren't an Olympian, so you weren't on the first 5.
Yeah. Well, he was still pretty good. Like when he would, like he'd voice note you back and give you some good detail and like stuff like that. But you know, it wasn't. Well, I guess obviously, like having worked with Jamie prior to it, where he's like one of my best friends, and you know, sees me a lot and like puts a lot of time into me. I think that's, you kind of get used to that, and that's what you kind of realize that's most important.
Well, you have got to click with him as a person. It is important. It is important. Yeah. And if they can be your mate as well, it is useful. Although, like a cunt coach is useful as well sometimes.
Yeah. Well, like when your coach can call you a cunt and you don't take it personally.
Yeah, I mean that was our special relationship, Johnny.
Sometimes I did take it personally. I just didn't tell him.
No, I did have to send him a couple of voice notes afterwards when I realised that I'd overstepped the line and thrown him an off the cuff joke, and obviously forgotten that he was 4 weeks out and had to retract it. But best version of Johnny this year ever. So
yeah,
let's be friends again.
No coincidence, brother. Okay, so how do you approach training for Classic? I'm guessing it's no different to everyone else.
No different. I train just the same as everyone.
Do you just like do a vacuum every time you train?
Yeah, that must happen.
You know what? I actually fucking never practiced that shit ever.
You're not just there doing like shadow box vacuums.
I get that so much. Like literally, I'd say every time I do a question, like, "What do you do for your vacuum training?" I'm like, "I don't. I just tried it one day and I could do it."
Mate, that's so fucking annoying. Terry Hollins as well said that. Like, because I was like, Terry Hollins was obviously like 400 pounds or something. Like, and you know, I can't pull a vacuum. And I was just like, you know, any tips for someone who was like really big, you know, like talking about inner abs, trying to get, and he was like, yeah, just did it. Like, oh.
You know, genuinely, I put it down to being a fat kid. And every time I went to the pool, trying to suck my stomach into it.
I think, you know, fairness, I do a vacuum, but the reason I do it because it takes away from my toe and pec. So it's like, look at the vacuum and
Don't look here. Good.
Distraction tactic.
That's
Okay.
why I need a big chest to draw attention from the fact I can't.
Okay. Or you could just learn.
Yeah, well, I'm getting no tips from anyone.
Well, don't ask Darren.
Yeah, fucking Terry Hollins was my key. He was gonna. It's the only reason I wanted him on. I was like, if he can like basically do one, like nothing.
He's gone from having like the biggest fucking gut ever.
Mate, I remember I did bring it up like a little bit where I was like, there was one World's Strongest Man he announced, and he looked like a fucking puddle, like a manatee had just crawled on and got him. He looked like he hadn't been trained. He was massive. So fair play to get in that shape. Fuck me.
You have to get Charles Griffin on. Get him on. I'm pretty sure that fucker practiced it.
Oh yeah. I did see that, and I was like, it's the way he's like managed to take his obliques off. Like, I was like, how the fuck have you done that?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll hit him a DM and he'll tell us to get fucked. Good.
Okay, so I don't even know this guy's Yas Sheikh, his name is. In your opinion, what is the order of importance for bodybuilding between obviously the usual candidates, training, diet, sleep, supplementation, and drugs? What is the priority order?
Oh, you better answer this.
Training. I'll go training first and then nutrition. They're kind of together, and then the rest fall into place after that.
The drugs is at the fucking end because you have to. It's like the hierarchy of needs. Have to train fucking hard to bother to eat the food. And then the drugs is like,
Yeah.
Everyone now is the fucking wrong way around. What can I take? What can I do? Don't be a pussy. How about that? Try not being a fucking pussy for like 2 years and then see.
Yeah, my biggest problem, which I've been a bit more consistent with this year, is I'd sooner like be at the end of the day and not want to do my jab than I would miss a meal, because I absolutely despise doing it that much. I'd be like, I'll just do it in the morning. Like, I'll eat all my meals, I'll get all my rest, my training's good. For me, over the years, my biggest pitfall has been, I'll just do it tomorrow.
Yeah.
I do fucking, obviously I don't use because I'm still a teacher. But if I did, I would hate it.
Yeah. I still have to do the pep talk. I have a shower, I sit on the edge of the bed.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't have time for that shit.
Oh, dude, I have to. I'm so thinking about it, like about the cleanliness of the whole thing. I can't do it unless I'm fresh out of the shower.
Really? Oh, mate, I'll go through the joggers. Fuck it, just boom, straight through. Fuck, I haven't got time for that shit. Gotta go to work, just blood-stained fucking jeans on the way in. Let the dog lick the needle to sanitize it. There we go. Never did me any harm.
For those watching, he's joking, by the way. Please don't do that.
Yeah, no, don't do anything I do, ever.
Ever. Fuck yeah. Right. In terms of questions, I think that was the end of it. I think we were very concise with the responses, to be fair.
It was good. They were clean and honest. I liked it. I'm all for it.
Indeed. So, Darren, what we do at the end of our podcast is we do 5 top tips. So Dan's doing the signed version of 5 top tips.
I want to get that, but I reckon it's good.
Yeah, I think that classes as Makaton. But yeah, if it doesn't have to be bodybuilding, but I'm assuming it would be bodybuilding related. 5 tips for those watching that potentially you wish you'd known maybe earlier in your bodybuilding career, or just anything that seems relevant.
Life gems.
Oh shit!
Truth bombs.
Pressure's on. Guess all right. We'll go down the bodybuilding route with it. I guess. I think first thing would be just don't take it don't over stress it and take it too seriously early on. Just fucking enjoy that shit. Like that's one of the things I think that's like the worst part in today's industry is everyone's like, you guess like people are fucking 19, 20 years old and they're like, I want my pro card. I'm like, fucking just enjoy this shit for a while.
Hashtag road to pro.
Yeah. Like let's be real. I think I've seen something was it Fuad or something said it about 99% of pro bodybuilders will never win a show. So don't be fucking.
And it's not like easier now, but there are loads of pros.
Yeah.
Like in the first year when they opened it up, I did a calculation. There was like 250 new pros in 1 year.
Yeah.
You know, and is there a reason for that? Well, yeah, it's 250 quid each. Do the maths on that a second. It's a lot of fucking money.
Yeah, I think
But yeah, the people, you have to enjoy it, right? It's like like you said, the training is the most important thing. If you have to drag yourself to the gym, you're not going to survive. You're not going to survive the 10 years. You have to like do the first 3 years without thinking about it, just because you fucking love it. Like if you're there like slugging it out early on, mate, you got to pick something else.
Yeah. That would be my thing. Would be getting into it now. Would be, you know, if you're doing it, do it for the right reasons. You know, do it because you enjoy it, not because it's going to look cool to your friends, or you can put it on Instagram. Because if that's why you're doing it, I'm pretty sure in a couple of months' time you're going to hate it. You know.
What was your injury actually? Because you did sports, then you had an injury. What was it?
Which one?
Well, the final.
So I did both my cruciate and my AC joint in my shoulder pretty much back to back.
That'll do it.
Yeah,
That'll do it.
they were the ones that finally tipped me over the edge.
Wasn't it Marcus Rule, wasn't it? He hurt his knee because he played soccer and then accidentally became the biggest man ever. So maybe it was a blessing.
Yeah.
From the Lord Jesus Christ himself. I went to church today because I had to have my bands read, so now I'm feeling godly. He'll be gone.
I'm surprised they let you pass the fucking door.
I'm not gonna lie, it was fucking weird. The whole thing was weird. They said my name wrong, so I had to like shout out. It's like, my name's Daniel, not David. And they were like, so, like, I'm glad they didn't file that. And then there was like the local crackhead, I guess, that sat in the thing, and they obviously like knew him, but they let in because, you know, God loves everyone, even crack. And they were like talking about the Jubilee, and they were like, you know, has the Queen served us right? And he just went, no. So it was good banter. It was all right, you know. I didn't get bashed with too much Bibleness. It was all right. So I'm feeling spiritual.
I got married in a Greek church in Greece, and I didn't have a fucking notion what was going on the whole ceremony.
Oh, that's probably. I mean, that's kind of how I felt as well.
Yeah. Same thing.
Like the songs were different.
Getting pointed and directed to like walk around in a circle. I must have done it right because I'm married. So
it's like a circle.
Got the best bit. Isn't a Greek wedding like 3 days or something anyway?
No, it's long though. It's a couple of hours, and it was in July, and there was no fucking aircon in that place. I got so bad at one point. This Greek priest patted me down.
Oh,
how many plates were smashed?
None actually. No.
Couldn't do the plates.
No.
Okay.
We didn't do that there. No.
So tip number 2.
Sorry, I just interject all the time. It's my thing.
Sorry,
we got it lost there. Consistency. You know, I think that's probably the biggest thing I talk about when it comes to me anyway. Is, you know, like I've never been fucking like anyone who's seen my journey or whatever. I've never been like the most talked about or most genetically gifted, but I've been pretty damn consistent with everything I've done, and it's got me to here. So I say be consistent with your approach. That'll get you there. Don't chop and change between everything you're doing.
Yeah, it's cliche, but it's fucking true.
It's it's a very common top tip, and it is the most important. And also consistency then teaches you about your body, and everyone's fucking different. And if you keep chopping and changing shit, you'll never know which bit worked, and you'll just be stabbing in the dark. We like it. It's a good one.
Then I would say get good at eating and get good at starving, because both of those you're gonna have to do.
Oh god, that's hit home. Yeah, that's so true.
One thing I'm gonna add is don't make your food taste nice. So when you're in prep, you don't want it to taste good, because then you won't want to eat that shit. So,
yeah, you got to be in deep enough prep so even the horrendous food is like, I'm really looking forward to it.
No, I look at it the other way. I'm like, if that tastes good and it's such a tiny amount, I'm going to want to eat more of it. But if I make it taste like absolute shit, I won't want to eat it.
That's a good tactic.
Yeah,
good.
Starve myself.
2 to go.
Shit, I'm out of my gems now.
I mean, they can be shit. We've had loads of shit ones.
You know, I'd say probably, and this is something I've probably only taken away myself maybe in the last year or so, is find more than bodybuilding. You know, I don't place a huge importance on it in my day-to-day life. I go to the gym when I need to. I do my cardio when I need to, and then it's fucking done. And I do other stuff. I do normal shit. You know, I'm married. I live a life, so I don't fucking make my wife fucking sit at home and watch me eat chicken and rice, and we go and do stuff.
See, it is a thing. If you actually like plan your meals and stuff like that, it doesn't take that long. And once you've been doing it long enough, you're already in the fridge picking up your Tupperware before you've even thought about it. You're already on the treadmill. You wake up on the treadmill, don't you, and prep. You're like, how the fuck did I get here? like already doing it. And it doesn't take that long, does it? So you can do other shit.
I find if you do other stuff as well, it takes your. I think one of the biggest part, and I think this has come from social media as well. People start a prep, but it's like they haven't already sort of preset in their head that they should be suffering. Like, you motherfucker, you're doing 20 minutes of cardio and you're still eating a shit ton of food. You're not suffering, but you're telling yourself you are because it's the fucking thing you're supposed to do. Or, you know, you're supposed to go and gather a shitload of shit food and binge on it after training because it's what you're supposed to do. Just get on with your fucking life and, you know, do normal shit. You won't think about it.
Yeah, it is true. The prep life, as soon as it's like, 20 weeks out, oh God, suffering, #fucked.
Be a cunt to everyone.
I'm a 365 on that. Maybe that's like your food thing. Like, if I'm a cunt always, then when it's prep and I'm a cunt, then it's the same.
No change.
Yeah.
Consistency.
I think like two of the top tips. I've nailed it in one. It doesn't have to be a crescendo, the last one. It can be a dive.
No pressure.
No pressure. Fuck, I don't know anything. What did I say?
What about tattoo cover-ups?
Does it matter these days?
That's I don't know. Just throwing it out there. Thought you were struggling.
I think probably a lot of people these days are kind of worried about, like, they're overthinking everything when it comes to bodybuilding as well. You know, trying to fit a certain way, sort of do, like, look a certain way for it. Was, you know, I think just bodybuild, let your body do what it wants, and then see where you fit in.
Yeah, it's like Dan talks about it all the time in terms of, like, people are replacing the hard work with just fucking overcomplicating shit. Like, at the end of the day, like, 9 times out of 10, the guys who are making the most progress are the guys who are just fucking doing the basic stuff really fucking good. They're not looking at microdosing this and you know, fucking periodizing that and fucking no. They just do you know what I mean? They're getting shit done.
I think if I tried to keep up with all that stuff, like, I get it. I get, like, you know, I'm all for progression and advancing of techniques and stuff like that, but, you know, you don't need to use them all at once and do everything and replace the basics with them. Fucking man, if I tried to do it all at once, I think I'd be fucking more mentally fatigued than I am fucking physically.
Yeah, I think it's just people are into the idea of it. And it used to be you could just be like a fan of bodybuilding, but now you have to, like, do it as well. And it's just, it's the people that are worried about, oh, what if my weakness, like, I don't feel this movement. Go and do the basic shit and then see what your body does. And when you actually have a physique, then you can look at it and go, oh, that's not worked. Like, for your strong body parts will grow, the other ones won't grow from basic shit, and you might have to do something a little bit weirder. But if you're still 8 stone, like, you're not going to have that feedback yet.
No. I think that's the thing as well, is a lot of the stuff that's come out now in bodybuilding, that they're advanced techniques. So you need to have a general basis of muscle built to benefit from them. As you said, if you're 8 stone wet and you've barely been training a year, slapping on a load of bands on everything, cuffing everything, probably isn't going to serve you the best.
That's
Exactly.
my favourite so far.
But he might get a lot of likes on Instagram.
It's true.
Yeah, it's true.
So depends what he's after, really.
My top tips to grow huge legs, and you're like, where's these huge legs?
Yeah, you just start commenting with all, like, the fucking spewing emojis.
Yeah, I do like the people that are like, that have the big legs, usually just have the big legs. And you go and watch their training. Like, he had massive legs. I wonder what he's doing to get massive. He's just doing loads of hack squats, really heavy. Damn, it's no bands. It's no bands. Nothing's been called. Nothing's reversed.
I don't think I've ever seen James Hollingshead use a band.
No, mate. Hollingshead is fucking. His leg training just.
I think you've just got a hard on then. Thinking about it,
mate. I do. I like. I like James a lot anyway. But it's not even the fact that he's lifting it. You can tell that he feels fucking everything that he's doing. It's just perfect. The motion. I'm so jealous. Mine just feels like my knees, my patella tendons are just going to fire, even if I could lift what he was doing. And you can just see, and I've trained with Hollingshead, and it looks effortless and pumpy and luscious. And my leg training feels like my knees are screaming at me, please don't do this, please don't do this. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, in all fairness, that fucking most recent video of him squatting 8 plates, I had a semi.
It was nuts. Wasn't it wedged as well?
That just makes you want to give up because you're like, I'm never going to do that.
Yeah. I thought I might have been strong, and then I saw that, and
so the only bodybuilder I know that could walk into a powerlifting meet and just murk everyone.
Yeah, mate. Oh, mate, that's a video. It needs to happen. It's still the only one who does like 1 rep. Does do a couple of 1 rep stuff. He does 1 rep like bench and stuff sometimes.
Yeah, but the worst thing about it is when you see him do a 1 rep, you know that there is more in there.
Definitely.
It's not really a 1 rep. He's telling you it's a 1 rep, but in reality, you can see the way he controls it. But that's not a 1 rep max.
I always just think when I see him doing that, obviously he's training in King's Gym. There's lots of younger kids around there now, like influencer kind of thing. I wonder what they must think when they see that. They just look at that and they go, that there's more weight on there than they can't even.
Do you know what happens when people see that? Ryan Crowley.
That's a good point, because the guys that are starting up that have like got the Instagram accounts and the tripods and everything, and they go and look at Hollingshead and he does the squats, he's really massive, and they go, nah, that's bullshit, mate. What you want to do, puff on your leg, right? And then how have they not? Hang on, there's this guy who does the thing. What should we do? I know, reverse band everything. That's what we need to do.
Yeah,
all right.
Hard work doesn't sell, brother. You all know this. Darren, thank you, brother. I do appreciate it, man.
Myself, I'm terribly sorry for being late. I'm shit.
No stress.
It's all right. I messed him up about for like a few weeks. So I mean, you being a little bit late is kind of not that bad.
Okay, I should have just blamed it on you then.
Yeah, standard.
Shit. Hey, great to meet you, Darren. Good luck with your Olympia prep. Big love, man. Do it for the UK.
Thank you, man.
Nice to meet you, brother.
You too.
See you later. Cheers, gents.
Cheers. Bye.